Restitution is the return of something wrongfully taken from its owner. It's also a specific remedy in equity that requires a party to give up unjustly acquired gain. The case of Johnson versus Penny digs into the proper application of restitution. Michael Johnson operated a construction company and owned 2 mining pits in South Dakota. In March 2005, Johnson entered into an oral contract with Robert Larson, who owned farmland nearby. Johnson would remove rock from Larson's property in exchange for the value of the rock removed. Soon after, Johnson and Larson entered into another oral contract. Johnson would install drain tile on Larson's farm in exchange for keeping the rock he excavated from the property. Johnson installed the drain tile. For a month, Johnson extracted about 1,100 tons of rock from Larson's property and removed 3 to 5 semi-truckloads of it. Johnson stored the remaining rock on Larson's property to remove later. Johnson said Larson allowed him to do this. A year later, the rock was still there. Larson told farmer Joel Penny that the rock was still on Larson's property, even though Johnson agreed to remove it. Larson said he reached out to Johnson multiple times about when it would be removed. Johnson hadn't responded. Larson asked Johnson again if Johnson intended to remove the rock. Johnson still didn't respond. Larson gave Penny permission to remove the rock for free. Penny took around 50 semi-truckloads, including around 25 semi-truckloads from Johnson's rock stockpile. 2 months later, Johnson found out some of his rock was gone. Johnson sent Larson a letter reminding him of their oral agreements and invoiced Larson for his services, excavating and removing the rock and installing drain tile. Larson didn't respond to Johnson and didn't pay the invoice. Johnson sued Larson and Penny for breach of contract, conversion, constructive trust, and unjust enrichment. A jury found for Larson and Penny on the breach of contract and conversion claims. The court entered judgment against Larson and Penny on the equitable claims, finding they were unjustly enriched. The court applied quantum meruit to award Johnson the value of the goods and services provided to Penny. Larson and Penny appealed.